Well, today's hearing for Hunter Biden turned out to be a complete dumpster fire, totally different from what the lawyers thought they were walking into. Now, look, after Hunter found out that this sweetheart deal did not give him unconditional future immunity, which I don't know why it would, but he decided to plead not guilty, and then the judge rejected the other part of it. Now, under the original plea deal that they had going into court today, he would have pleaded guilty to 2 of the 6 tax fraud charges while skating on really any real consequences for that gun charge. That is until the judge asked them if this would prevent Hunter from ever being charged with anything else going forward. Ever. Didn't seem to have the answer. Probably hoping to avoid any pending investigation with the apparent violations of the Foreign Agents Registration Act, or what they call FARA. Now, fortunately, that's not how our legal system works. And after a quick court recess where, of course, some things were leaked to only CNN, Hunter actually agreed to a limited agreement that would cover 2014 to 2019 and would only include conduct related to tax offenses, drug use, and gun possession, with no blanket immunity for anything else that could or may come down, pending other investigations, especially when it related to the Biden web of potential pay to play. And that's getting all complicated. Sometime between then and a little bit later in the day, Hunter and his team still thought that this plea deal was like blanket immunity. And basically saying, well, hey, this is it. Can't charge me with anything ever again. I'm out of here. See ya. That's not how it works. I guess this is what happens when you hire a lawyer who got caught ripping a bong on a balcony in L.A. Look, no way this is fair, folks. There are still questions and a ton of ongoing investigations and nefarious allegations. But the thing that really got this thing torn up was the judge saying, this gun charge is serious. The judge did not accept it as written because the way it had been structured by the prosecution left the discretion to the judge. Well, the judge turned around and was like, hey, let me give you a quick legal lesson, Mr. Prosecutor, that this is your job to decide how do you want to prosecute this, not mine as a judge. Now, look, how many of you out there are lawful gun owners? I am. I spend a ton of time making sure I comply with any and all laws. This felony Hunter committed is crazy. Lying on a federal background check? His own father made a career of calling for enhanced background checks, too.
The background checks. Background checks.
Without a background check.
In the background check system.
Yeah. Yet Hunter really wasn't expected to face any legitimate consequences for this, having his wife dump the gun in a dumpster? Are you kidding me? Look, we did a really quick search for people who have done the same thing, and the results beg the question, how the hell did he get a sweetheart deal like this? Look at this. Adaris Hawkins of Iowa pled guilty to possession of a firearm by a drug user. Same exact charge. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Iska Johnson of Tennessee was sentenced to 21 months for the exact same crime Hunter Biden was charged with. In fact, I couldn't really find anyone who has ever skated on this crime that wasn't charged with something more serious related to the same instance, like bank robbery, homicide, or something like that. If you ask the White House, though, this suddenly isn't that serious of a crime.
Does he believe that someone who is charged with possessing a firearm illegally should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law?
So here I'm going to be, I think I know where this question is going, and I'm just going to continue to say, as it relates to the case that we're seeing in Delaware, I'm just going to not speak to that. It is an independent matter. This is up for the Department of Justice. Even with the question that you're asking me, it's one of those legal criminal matters, and it's up to that process, that legal process. I'm just not going to speak to it here.
This is why I hate her. That's not what they asked, lady. They asked what the president thinks, where the president stands on whether or not they should prosecute a gun charge. The Justice Department and, quite frankly, the White House are trying to play both sides of this. They want this closed out, obviously, for Joe Biden's sake, but without the blanket immunity. They're kind of like, well, maybe we'll reopen it. And the clock is also ticking because Devin Archer is about to spill the beans on the big guy. He's testifying in front of Congress about all the business dealings. But on the other hand, as you've seen from the world's worst press secretary, through all this entire process, what is the one soundbite she goes to? She says, well, ongoing investigation, because simply nothing new to share.
Have you seen the president since Hunter Biden showed up in federal court?
The president and the first lady love their son, and they support him.
Have the president and his attorneys been in touch with Hunter's legal team today, and have they been keeping tabs on the proceedings?
Look, I don't have anything to share.
Nothing to share. Nothing to see here because, they do everything above board there. Beyond that, this tax issue would have buried any regular citizen. In fact, there's approximately 3,000 people criminally prosecuted each year for the exact same thing, for even less money. It's even burned the rich and famous. Look, Lauryn Hill, sentenced to 3 months for it. Wesley Snipes did 3 years. Pete Rose did 5 months for the same exact thing. Richard Hatch from Survivor, sentenced to 51 months. Leona Hemsley was sentenced to 16 years, served 21 months and a ton more. Yeah, Hunter Biden, no problem. I'm going to plead guilty, no time, nothing to see. Do not pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. This is a two-tier justice system. Do not underestimate the importance of this, though. This could lead to a floodgate opening on Joe Biden. That's what they're worried about. If this goes to trial, the discovery alone will be a cascade of information, contacts, a web of shell companies that will uncover more than Joe Biden could ever hope to hide from.